Welcome to the Blazing Cook. Today I'm excited to share with you what has become my to-go recipe. Number one, because it's inexpensive. With 25 bucks, you can feed your entire family with it. But number two, is packed with tons of flavor. It's super delicious. If you're afraid of flavor, this is not going to be the recipe for you because this is just super delicious. But one tip that I got for you is that if you go to the supermarket, you buy a package of chicken breast, it might cost you 10 to 13, probably $15 depending on the size. But with the same amount of money, you can buy the whole chicken. You can buy the whole bird, and you got all the parts of the chicken that are super flavorful, super juicy, super delicious to try. So don't limit yourself. Just explore with those flavors. Also, I'm gonna be making this in my Kamado Joe. I'm gonna use the Joe Tisserie, which is one of the accessories for this type of grills. But if you don't have one of those or any other rotisserie, you can do the same recipe in your oven. And just make sure you get to a 165, the internal temperature, or higher, depending how you like your meat to be cooked. But without further ado, follow me to this amazing, delicious meal. All right, to get started, we're gonna create a marinade. And in the bowl, I add in about a pinch of salt, 6 cloves of garlic minced. I'm going to add some dry oregano, and this is about a tablespoon of dry oregano. I already kind of have it figured out in my hand. I'm also gonna have about 2 teaspoons of fresh ground pepper, and it's just a different flavor when you just grind it right before using it. It kind of give a different aroma. And to that, the star of the show is going to be this Weber beer can chicken. I love this seasoning. It's really good. But I always knew it kind of missed to my criteria, the oregano and the garlic that I just added for this recipe. And I'm gonna be using about half of the container. It's about 2.5 tablespoons what I use. And now to bring all those flavors together, to just awaken all those dry spices, I'm adding olive oil. And I'm kind of creating a paste. It's not gonna be a very runny marinade. It's just gonna be a nice paste we're gonna be able to rub the chicken with. But for the chicken, what I'm doing now is just separating the skin from the flesh, just so we can get our marinade all up in there. Try not to tear up the skin. Try to keep it whole for presentation purposes. But even if you do, it's not a big of a deal. You can sew the skin back together like I did, and I'll show you in a minute. Just using a couple of toothpicks. And the reason why you want to keep the skin intact, also for moist, you don't want your chicken to dry out, because we're going to be cooking this in an open fire. And there it is. It is time now for the marinade all over, trying to get it into all those incisions that we made. All those flavors are just ridiculous. They're just extremely flavorful, and the aroma, oh my god, I wish you guys were here to smell how amazing this seasoning, this marinade is. Try to go inside as well. Don't leave an inch without the marinade. You see, go to the back, right underneath the wings, around the neck area. And this chicken is pretty much ready to go. I left my marinade overnight. You can do 2 hours, you can do 4 hours, whatever you're comfortable with. But this is how mine looks. And even though it just came out of the fridge, it smells amazing. You can see all the marinade, how it's just kind of drying out. I'm trusting my chicken. I usually just like to use the butcher's twines on the legs only. And for the wings, I like to use the wooden skewers. And I'll show you in a minute. And it just keep the wings in place. They won't be flopping as the chicken is rotating in the rotisserie. And this is the time where I put the skewers into the wing just to secure it, and also to sew the skin of the breast where I tear it up so it can remain juicy. As you can see, now I'm getting ready to set this puppy up into the grill, and the skin is nicely attached. I'm adding or attaching the chicken into the accessory here, and as you can see, this chicken is ready for the fire. All that is left to do is just to add my wireless thermometer, which I'm inserting now. So I'm keeping a track on my phone on how it's cooking, and towards the end, before you finish getting to the temperature that I'm wanting to cook it at, I actually leave the dome open so it can create a nice crust. And this is how I like to fire on my grill. I like to put a fire starter right on the vent, and I'm just letting it come to temperature. I'm cooking this bird at 300 degrees, and it's gonna be a long, slow cook. And trust me when I'm telling you, this is delicious. I make this recipe many times. Coals are nice and fire, and the chicken is ready to be put on the spit. And right now I'm just adjusting it so it can be nice and center. I don't want no even cooks. I want to be able to have the fire just hitting this bird as it rotates just evenly all around. For sizes, I'm putting some potatoes with some olive oil, salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. And I'm doing the same thing with the Brussels sprouts. The potatoes, I'm throwing into a cast iron, and I'm just giving it a sear. On the outside, they're not going to be cooked at this point. I'm just looking for a nice sear, and then I'm just going to finish it up in the oven. And as you can see, it's looking beautiful and it's smelling amazing. I'm doing the same thing with the Brussels sprouts, but I'm just searing just the inside of it. And the way I'm gonna finish it up is using this Chardonnay wine, which is a drinking wine, to kind of steam and finish the cook of these Brussels sprouts. As you can see, they're coming to temperature, and I like mine just to still have a bite to it. And this is how our bird is looking with an hour into it. And this is kind of like close to finish, so I'm leaving the dome open so the fire can just keep flaring up and creating a nice little crust. These are some chives that I'm just chopping finely for decoration purpose only. Trust me, we don't need more flavors than what we already have. And look at this. Chicken is ready, nicely cooked, super tender, still super juicy, as you can see in the cutting board. And I'm going very careful not to tear it up, just so I can have a nice presentation. And for wine, I'm just pairing it up with the same wine that I used to cook the Brussels sprouts. And this wine was the perfect match. With all the savory flavors that we have, this kind of sweet connotation of the wine, it was just incredible. If this is not mouth-watering to you, I don't know what will be. So please do yourself a favor and try this recipe. It's just amazing. Thank you for stopping and watching it. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave your comments down below. Thank you, and until the next time.